Connecting Slack to Zapier starts right inside your Zapier dashboard. You'll create a new Zap, pick Slack as the app, sign into your workspace, and test the connection. Once that's done, every automation you build can send messages or react to Slack instantly. Open your browser and head to Zapier. Ding, stock. Sign in with the account you actually use for your automations. If you've got a personal and a work login, choose the one where your Zaps will live. After the dashboard loads, look in the upper left corner. There's a bright orange Create button. Click that, and from the drop-down, select Zaps. A fresh Zap editor opens, and it's a blank canvas with a single trigger step waiting for you. The trigger is the event that kicks everything off, so every Zap must begin here. You're not picking the trigger yet, just building the skeleton, but it's good to keep that order in mind. One thing I always check right now, the profile picture in the top right. Quick glance to confirm I really am in the correct account before I start wiring up apps. In the editor, you'll see the trigger step highlighted. Click it to open the app picker. A search bar appears, type Slack, and it filters the list almost instantly. Select Slack from the results. Now this is where you decide whether Slack will sit in the trigger seat or the action seat. If you want a Zap to fire when a new message lands in a channel, Slack is your trigger. If you'd rather post a message to Slack whenever something happens in another app, like a new row in Airtable, you'll be adding Slack as an action later. But at this stage, it doesn't matter which role you pick. You're just establishing the authorization. Zapier needs permission to talk to your workspace either way. After you select Slack, Zapier prompts you to sign in or connect a new account. Click that button and a separate browser window pops open, taking you to Slack's own authorization flow. Sign into Slack if you aren't already, and then you'll see a list of every workspace you belong to. This is where I've tripped up more than once. I've accidentally clicked the wrong workspace, granted access, and then sat there confused when my test channel wasn't showing up. So take a beat here, read the workspace name carefully, choose the exact one you intend to automate. Once you select it, Slack shows you a permission screen. You'll see things like read messages, send messages as you, or even create channels. Those are the specific scopes Zapier is requesting. If your workspace has app installation locked down, you might need an admin to approve it first, so keep that in mind. After you're comfortable with the permissions, click Allow. Zapier stores that OAuth token securely, and now your workspace is linked. Back in Zapier, you'll have a Continue button. Hit that, and the next screen shows a test button. Click it. Zapier pings Slack with a lightweight call, basically asking, "Hey, can we still talk?" If all is well, you'll get a green success banner and your Slack account name appears as a connected account. Often Zapier will even surface a sample of data, like a list of your public channels, just to prove it can read from the workspace. If the test fails, don't panic. 9 times out of 10, the culprit is a permissions hiccup, or you've accidentally selected the wrong workspace during sign-in. Disconnect the account, reconnect, and double-check you're using the right workspace and that your role allows app integrations. I've debugged a lot of these, and it's almost never on Zapier's end. It's always a workspace setting or a mix-up. With the connection greenlit, you can now set up exactly what Slack does in this Zap. If Slack is your trigger, you'll pick the channel to watch. Just start typing its name and Zapier will auto-suggest from your live channel list. You might also filter for a specific user or keyword. If Slack is an action, you'll choose the target channel where the message posts, then write the message body. Right here, I never use a real team channel for initial tests. I always create a dedicated channel called something like #ZapTest, and I send everything there first. That way, nobody gets spammed while I'm figuring out the formatting. You can also inject data from the trigger step by clicking Insert Data. So if a new Trello card triggers the Zap, you can drop the card name right into the message. Type a curly brace or search for the field, and Zapier pulls the live value. Fill in any required fields like bot name or emoji icon if you're posting as a bot, but know those are optional for most use cases. Once that Slack step looks right, add any remaining actions your workflow needs. You might chain several apps together here. Before you publish, run the step test. Click Test Step for each action. Zapier will actually send a test message or retrieve sample data from Slack so you can confirm it looks exactly as you expect. Check the spelling, the channel, the dynamic fields. When you're confident, click Publish at the bottom. That turns the Zap on and it starts listening for its trigger event immediately. Within the first hour, I usually hop over to the Task History tab in Zapier just to reassure myself that no runs are failing silently. If you spot a red exclamation mark, the error details will tell you exactly what went wrong, and you can tweak and republish. Now your Slack account is connected to Zapier and ready for automation. You can replicate this single connection across dozens of Zaps without reauthorizing. A great next move is to build a simple notification. Whenever a new form submission lands in your email marketing tool, post a summary to a Slack channel. It's a quick win that saves a ton of checking. If you ever need to revisit these steps, save this video, and if it got your Zap running, hit like, I'd appreciate it. Happy automating.